We are doing well. We have had some cold nights. Past 2 nights, and it's supposed to be really cold tonight. Down in the low 20s. It's actually supposed to got in the teens, but it hasn't. 21's the lowest I've seen it. I cut up an old sweatshirt. I like using old sweatshirts, and I'll probably do a video on that to make little jackets for the baby goats whenever I have them in the winter. And they're super simple because, you know, sweatshirt material don't unravel, so it's super simple to make them. And I put that on them, and they've done really well. The past 2 nights, I've gotten up around 3 o'clock to go out there and just check and make sure everybody's doing okay when it comes to the temperature, because it has been so cold. And everybody's done really well, so I'm tickled with that. But today I'm starting on all my spring cleaning and stuff, and I've actually done a video about what I'm going to show you today before, but it was an old video and kind of rough, but I want to go ahead and do it again just because I've got to use some of this today, and I thought I'd go ahead and shoot this before I shoot that part. But what I have here is, you've seen these old Comet bottles. Well, this ain't Comet anymore. A lot of you may know that I try not to use as a little toxic stuff as I can. I'm not completely a toxic-free house by no means. But if there's something I know I can do, and it's also more frugal and practical to do, I do that. But this here is an old Comet can, and it's about faded off, but if you can see there, it says sink scrub. Well, what I do is I've got these little containers. They're just little mason jars, and I have drilled holes in the top of these, as you can see. I've actually painted this one, but I haven't that one. And what I do, this here has got baking soda in it. This is my baking soda. And I put essential oils in it, different blends, and I set them up around my house to absorb odors and also help with the essential oils doing their thing with refreshing the air. Some of them, like eucalyptus, for example, is good about helping with dust mites and stuff like that. So I like to use that for that. But after I feel like they're spent, they've kind of absorbed all they're going to absorb when it comes to that, I take this old Comet bottle and I take what I've always called a case. How many of you guys has ever called this a case knife? I guess they're actually called dinner knives. I don't know what they're called, but we've always called them case knives. And I know Case is a brand of a knife, and my daddy always had case knives, and I've got case knives for that matter. But we always call these case knives. And some people call them butter knives, but a butter knife is actually different than this. I do know that, but I don't know if this is just supposed to be considered a dinner knife or what. But I've always called them case knives, so that's what I call it. Anyway, I used it to pop my lid. Now, my spent baking soda that I feel like has already done what it's going to do, I pour it into this Comet bottle. And then I use that as a sink scrub, just like you would Ajax. And it works really good. And it's still got smell to it. So whatever you use it to scrub with, you're also going to have a fragrance to it. So that's really great. And I use that, I keep it under my kitchen sink, and I use it all the time for things. But to tell you something else that I use this for, that I'm going to use it for today, and even though this is pretty well spent, I still like to do this because it does have the essential oil smells are still very strong there as well, is I sprinkle this over my furniture as well. Like my couch and chairs and stuff like that. It can help absorb some more odors, or you can make you a fresh batch if you want to make you a fresh batch. And also the smell with the eucalyptus and different essential oils that I use in it will help with the fragrance as well. And killing out any dust mites and stuff like that, especially if you use the eucalyptus, which is my primary one I like to use in this. So that's what I do with that. So now I'm going to refresh these. And all I'll do is I'll take some, I thought I had a scoop in there. It's gone. Oh well, I'll do this. I'll take some baking soda, and you don't really need a whole lot. Sometimes I add some to it later. I'm actually going to put probably about 3 tablespoons is really all you really need in it. And after I do that, I'm going to use some of my essential oils, and this here is a blend that I really like, that I use in my diffuser a lot, that I'm going to go ahead and do my thing with this time. I'm going to use rosemary, I put 2 drops of rosemary. I use 2 drops of peppermint oil and 2 drops of, I want to make sure I don't get too much with that one, of lavender, 2 drops of lavender, and 2 drops of bergamot. And I have growing to really love bergamot, especially in a blend. And I will put that in there, and I'll stir this up. I like to use a fork when I do this, because you can get those oils smashed down in there really good. And those to me make a wonderful blend. I love the blend of this here. And I'll just smash it in really good. Get it into the baking soda. And then I set this in places. I like to put it where I put my barn clothes, my boots and stuff like that, because of, you know, they're barn clothes. And if they're in the house, then you might smell odor from them. So I like to stick them there. I stick one in the bathroom. And just wherever I feel like I want to put it at the time. Sometimes I stick it close by the front door. And there we have it. That's all there is to it. And I'll be doing the other one too. But I wanted to show you that, guys, because I thought that was a really good tip that I totally adore doing. And like I said, this scrubs your sinks really well. And this will also, you can use this. Sometimes I probably ought to do it on another video. But you can also make a paste with this and put it on your stainless steel and wash them and then go back and rinse them off. And it really cleans up your stainless steel really well as well. So just so you know, I thought I'd throw that out there for you. Okay, it's time for our first Remember When. I have a ton of these things, guys, that I've been keeping up with to share with you guys because I love reminiscing about these things. Some of these will be maybe older than some of you folks can remember, and some of them will be not as old as some of you folks may remember. And I'm just excited to get to do this because I know when I find these things, it just brings back a lot of memories and stuff like that. And through talking to so many of you different commenters and stuff, I can see that a lot of you share are like-hearted in those aspects. And it just brings joy. I feel like it does anyway. But anyway, I got a few wrote down. And I've got a ton, like I said. So I don't think we'll run out throughout the year of stuff to remember when. And but anyway, let me start with this. I started thinking about how years ago, a lot of things was in tin cans. You know, today they're in either plastic or sometimes still cardboard, but a lot of stuff's in plastic now. It's not even in glass a lot of times. But I thought about things that were in tin cans. I thought about my papa. My papa always made his own cigarettes with Prince Albert cans, and I love those cans. It was just cool to see those cans, but I remember him carrying that stuff around all the time, and he would just chill. You know, think about my grandfather would sit around after being out working all day and doing things, and he would just take a break and enjoy a few minutes, you know, as hard as they worked. Today we're so high-paced and go, 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 go that it's hard to just sit back and just chill. But he would sit back under a tree or whatever and roll him up a cigarette with his Prince Albert cans and his little, what was it, 1.0s or something like that on the little papers. And I just thought that was cool. But it made me think about more tin cans. And remember the Hershey's syrup, or not Hershey's syrup, the Hershey's cocoa there was a yellow can with a little boy's face on it, and he was licking his lips like it was good. And I don't know why, but Hershey's cocoa does not taste like it did then. But that was the best Hershey's cocoa I've ever ate. And I wish that's where they still had it, exactly like that, can and all. And it was a tin can. The Band-Aid boxes, remember the Band-Aid boxes when they were tins? They don't do that anymore. I haven't seen any. Remember Secrets, the little front lozengers that was in the little tin can, Secrets? The mamas always kept in their pocketbooks. You'd go to church and they'd dig out a Secret. And then they came along with those cherry ones that, I don't think that was Secret brands, but those lozengers. But those were more like candy than they were anything. The tin little Bear aspirins and different types of that you keep in your purse. There was all kinds of different ones. It was Bear aspirin's one of the main ones I remember. That had your little pills in it, and they were just a little tin. I had one of them for years. I don't know what I did with it. And one more on this one, and I'll hush because I got, like I said, I got plenty more. I don't want to make this video too long because I can get on a rant and rave when I go through this stuff and just babble on and on and on. And I don't want to do that. But anyway, the last one, and this is, I guess this was probably in the late 70s, maybe. I'm not sure exactly. But the little Hunt's cans of snack packs, like pudding packs, but back then they called them snack packs, the Hunt's brand. And they were in a little tin can, and you pulled the cap off and had them. And that was just so cool to even think about. And whenever they were cold in the refrigerator, in that tin can, it just seemed like they were so much better. Anyway, that was a real treat to have back in the day. But anyway, I hope you liked this. I'm curious to hear your comments about some of this stuff, and I hope it brings some joy to some of you guys, because I know it does me to listen to this type of thing and think about these things. And I love you all. I appreciate you a great deal. And I hope you have a marvelous week. And I'm going to try to get another video out this week, and we'll have some more Remember Wins.